Greetings YouTube, JC, Bad Edit Pro. 1:55 in the morning, and here we sit on the bed, and we're going to talk a little bit about records, and put this clock up here so I'd be able to glance at it and keep myself on time as I went through my things I wanted to show you. Before we get to the records, I want to show you these. They are Sony MDR V500 studio headphones that my wife bought for me. She took a trip out of town, and she ended up having to stay longer than she thought, so it kind of left me here alone with the kids for an extra couple of days. And she felt sorry for me, so she bought me some audio toys. And you know, they say that the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. Not with me, it's through my ears, and she knows that. So thank you very much. By the way, she got these at Best Buy, and she got them for $10. They usually run between 70 and 80, and very nice headphones used for you know, being on the air in a radio station or in a studio. They're not so great for like sitting and listening to a whole album with headphones on because they squeeze your head rather tight, and they do that on purpose to keep the sound from feeding back. And they sound pretty good though, but they're great for being in a studio where you're taking your headphones on and off all the time. All right, moving on from that, let's get to the record. She also brought me some really cool new things, and I got these all stacked up so I can move right along here and tell you what I want to tell you about them. This is Michael Jackson's 25th anniversary edition of Thriller. It is a 2 LP set. It is on 180-gram audiophile grade vinyl. And V. Westlife has the picture disc of this, which is very cool. But she knew that I would want the second LP that came in with this. And it has the first record is the Thriller album, just like you remember it. And the second one is a bunch of new stuff with Kanye West and a couple of other artists that Michael recorded in 2008. Very cool stuff there. So that's a great album. Also on 180-gram vinyl, here is Prince's Purple Rain from 1984. Very well done release. And the audiophile grade vinyl, this 180-gram stuff that most of the new releases coming out are on, it's just amazing. There's no surface noise. The audio is very clear and very clean. And just all of the negatives that you associate with records, they have brought down to a minimum with these. They're very thick, very heavy. They do not bend. It sort of feels like you're picking up a Shellac 78. Steve Miller Band. And this is the Greatest Hits album, 1974 to 1978. Great record here. And this is also the audiophile grade stuff. A lot of the new releases are coming out, and I've been dying to hear what new vinyl sounds like with the new and improved cutting lathes and the new material that they're making the records out of. And believe me, records have really advanced in the last 20 years while I was away from them. Van Morrison, Moondance, a great sounding version of this album, also on audiophile grade vinyl. And Warner Brothers just really outdid themselves in that release. This was a big surprise. John Lennon, Imagine, and this is an audiophile grade release. All of the new ones are. And it is on Apple Records. Look at this. It's distributed by Capitol here in the United States, but it's on Apple, and it has exactly the same packaging as the original album. So those are very cool. Those are new, awesome records. She got them all on sale. She had a coupon. I just love it. She didn't actually, most of these audiophile grade records like this go for like, you know, $20 a piece, but she got them real cheap. So thank you, dear. Now this next batch here, we have to thank Clyde Sight, the YouTuber. Check out his channel on all of his vintage audio tape recorders. He hooked me up with a friend of his who does a lot of work for the local Humane Society in his community. They had a big yard sale, and they had a bunch of records they were selling, and some of them didn't sell. And I said, look, make me a video, show me the records, I'll send you a list, and I'll buy them. So I did. And I just got them today, which is why I'm doing the video. First one is Gord's Gold, Gordon Lightfoot, which is a wonderful album from 1975. It's kind of a greatest hits collection, but he recorded a whole new album to redo his stuff that he had put out on United Artists in the 60s. Now, I usually don't like it when artists re-record records that they've already put out, but in this case, I don't blame him, because those records from the 60s, man, if you ever heard them, the songs are great, but the quality is just terrible. So Gordon redid them and did a wonderful job on them. Elton John from 1978. This is an album called A Single Man. You may have not heard of this unless you're a real big Elton John fan. There were no hits that came off of this record. Elton John had a slump for a while there between about 1977 and 1981, and only had one big hit in 1979 called Mama Can't Buy You Love. And this was an album that came out in 78. It's a memory from my childhood, so I couldn't pass it up. And the quality is pretty good. This is a very wonderful find that was in that bunch of records that Clyde Sight sent me the video of. Sly and the Family Stone's Greatest Hits, and I think this album came out in 1970, but I'm not sure. It includes all of the big hits that you're used to, except for Family Affair, which was a #1 song in late 1970. So I'm assuming that this album came out before then. It's a gatefold album. Got a nice picture of the band there and the guys. And when I pulled the record out, I was like, oh my God, this thing looks terrible. It's not going to play. It's going to sound awful. But after a good cleaning, it turns out to sound just absolutely awesome. So that was a big find. Here's another one I'm very proud of. Diana Ross and the Supremes' Greatest Hits. I'm a huge fan of the Motown sound. And this particular album came out in 1967, so it doesn't include the big hits Reflections and Love Child and Someday We'll Be Together, because they hadn't come out yet. But what's really cool about this is an original 1967 Motown pressing, and the audio quality is fantastic. It blows all of the Motown re-releases on CD out of the water. In those days, Berry Gordy Jr. used to actually listen to all the records before they left. He'd listen to test pressings, and if it didn't sound right, he'd send them back and have them recut. And this one just sounds absolutely amazing. Moving on, moving into the 80s, Wham! Make It Big. And no, it has nothing to do with male enhancement products, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, it is their first album, and this copy is in very good condition and sounds wonderful. I think this particular record came from the Columbia House Record Club. Some of you may remember that. The Columbia House service was this thing that you signed up for, and they'd send you a record once a month, or you know, whatever, 2 or 3 records a month, and you'd pay for them, or you would send them back if you didn't like them. And it's like a book club. And the thing was that they did their own manufacturing for that service, and the records were fine, but the actual packages they came in were just about as flimsy and cheap as they could possibly be. And this certainly looks like one of those records. I was actually part of that service at one time, years and years ago. Bridge Over Troubled Water. This is a original 1970 pressing on Columbia. I know this because here is the sleeve for this record. There is a coupon here that you can cut out and buy one of these Simon & Garfunkel songbooks, okay? And the offer expires on December the 31st of 1970. You can't see that, but it's down at the bottom. And here is a little propaganda from Columbia telling you why records are so great. We got to hurry up. And there's the original record there. That's what that looked like. It's got the 2 eyes label. Also here we have Carole King's Tapestry on Ode. This is an original 1971 release. And a couple more that I mentioned in my last video but didn't get a chance to show. Men at Work's Business as Usual from 1982, and Steely Dan Asia from 1978. And to show you Steely Dan aficionados that this is an original 1977-78 pressing, I will show you the record itself. And yes, it is on ABC. It is not on MCA. So you know that it was pressed before 1979 because ABC got gobbled up by MCA in 1979. So there you go. It's the latest records in the you know, the collection here as we jump back into vinyl. Thanks for watching the vid. JC waving bye-bye. We'll have some more audio stuff as we get more toys. Thanks for watching. Bye.